Well, good morning, everybody. It is now 11 a.m. and it's time to get started with today's webinar, Audiobooks and eBooks with Libby. My name is Jose, and I'm a librarian here at LA County Library, and I want to welcome you all to today's presentation. We'll be covering the whole slate of Libby, how to sign on, how to request a book, how to place a book on hold, and a couple of little tips and tricks on how to best utilize Libby. So audiobooks and eBooks with Libby. So an overview on Libby Overdrive. So Overdrive is a digital provider of ebooks, audiobooks, magazines, video titles, and online classes. Today we'll be covering the ebooks, audiobook, and magazine section, and we'll touch briefly on the video titles and the online classes they do offer through a couple of their other resources. Libby is simply the app that is used by Overdrive. Previously, there was an Overdrive app. Earlier this year, that app was sunsetted and is no longer supported. So Libby is your one go-to app for Overdrive. The Overdrive website is still available on laptops, desktops, and tablets. But we'll be focusing on the Libby app as the majority of us now do use our mobile devices to connect with Libby and do a lot of our surfing on our mobile devices. The Overdrive and Libby collection has thousands of items, and I'll be kind of using sometimes Overdrive and Libby interchangeably. As I said, Libby is simply the app that connects you to our Overdrive collection. And so Overdrive is the parent company. And one of the great things about ebooks is they automatically expire at the end of the lending period, so you don't have to worry about returning them. The downside to that is they do automatically expire, and so if you're not quite done with the book and you're unable to renew it, you might have to wait a little bit longer to finish that book. Okay. So what would you need to connect to Libby? Well, as we are LA County Library, you will need your LA County Library card and your PIN. If you do not remember your PIN or you think you do not have a PIN, I encourage you to reach out to your local library. They'll verify some of your details and will give you your PIN. You're also able to change your PIN online once you get your original PIN from our customer service desk at any of our locations. You're welcome to go into a library or call over the phone, and they'll be happy to help you with that. And of course, since we're talking about digital assets, you will need a computer or a device with internet access in order to connect and download your chosen title. Now, you could use any of the cards that you see on the screen there. If you have that black card at the bottom right, you have been with us for a very, very long time. That was our first physical card when we went digital, when we started having computers at our locations to check out. If you have one of those purple or green ones on the upper row, you're one of our newer customers, but you're just as welcome. So thank you so much for taking part, or you might have replaced your card because you lost it. But if you do not have a card and you want to start using Libby right now, you could head over to that URL that's on the screen. I'll drop it in the chat in just a little bit. You're able to get a digital card. That digital card will give you access to all our digital resources. Now, if you do have one of the physical cards that are on the screen, you do not need a digital card to access Libby. This is simply a quick way for you to get access to our content right off the bat. All is required is you fill out that form, live within our service area, which is generally LA County, Orange County, Ventura County, and you'll be able to get one of our cards and use all our digital assets. Now, keep saying that because you're also allowed to check out 3 physical items, but there are some limitations to this digital card. You cannot use any of our computers at our location. You cannot take advantage of Discover and Go, which is our free museum passes. You're not allowed to check out one of our mobile laptops. For that, you could go into one of our physical locations and turn that digital card into a full access card and have the whole slate of our resources available to you. So if you don't have a card, grab that digital card, and when you have a chance, head over to LA County, one of our locations, and all your checkouts will transfer over. You will not lose anything they have currently checked out on Libby. So how to access it? So I encourage everybody, if you haven't done so already, to download the Libby app. It's available on iOS, which is your Apple devices, Android, which is the vast majority of the other devices, your Google phones, your Samsung phones, Kyocera, things like that. And also recently, it was added to the Kindle Fire it was not previously available to Kindle Fire. But if you have a Kindle Fire 10 HD or basically a Kindle Fire that is 2017 or newer, you're now able to download the app directly onto your Kindle Fire. You'll search for LA County Library. You type in that library card number and that PIN, and you'll be able to browse our collection. So I do have a question here really quickly. The digital card is just for 18 years and older. So you do need to be 18 to get a digital card, but you're always welcome to go into one of our locations and get your kid a full card through one of our locations. So how does it work? Well, once you're in, you're able to borrow items for 7, 14, or 21 days. My suggestion is also always do that 21-day period because, like I said, books do return automatically. So even though you might think you finish a book in 7 or 14 days, check it out for 21 days. If you are done with it beforehand, you're allowed to return it early. And if there's a hold list, it'll go on to the next customer. So, pass on that good karma. If you finish that book prior to the 21 days, go ahead and return it and pass it on. You're able to borrow up to 15 items. You're allowed to borrow up to 15, a combination of 15 audiobooks and eBooks. Magazines do not count towards your 15-item total. So if you're also interested in magazines, which we will cover a little bit, you could check out as many as you want, as they do not affect your total borrows at a time. And this is at a time, this is not per month, it's just a rolling 15. You're also able to place up to 15 items on hold. If you have more than 15 items that you want to place on hold, you could create lists that you could then slowly move over to your hold list as space becomes available. And we will cover how to do that momentarily. You are able to read and listen directly on the app. Listening is now exclusive on the Libby app. You could only download into the Libby app and listen through the app. You will Unfortunately, you're not able to download to a laptop or computer and put it on a USB drive or a CD. If you are on a laptop or a desktop, you're allowed to stream the audiobooks. You're not allowed to download the audiobooks. Downloading is only done on mobile devices. This is relatively new. If you were used to using the Overdrive app, where you could download the book to either a laptop or desktop, and then put it onto a CD or a USB drive. Unfortunately, you're not allowed to do that anymore. Also, it is a single file. Previously on Overdrive, you were able to download sections of a book. It is now a full file, which could get pretty big. And I could show you how to check how big the file is once you check out an item. You don't know previously, but I had requested for Libby to let us know before we check out how big that file is, as they can get pretty big. Reading, you do have a couple more options when you're reading an ebook. Your options are either to read within the Libby app, and it's a really great experience. There's a lot of accessibility features that I'll demonstrate that allow you to make those books a lot more accessible to a larger audience. You're also able to download as an EPUB if you have like a Nook. So you do have that option. And of course, you have the option to send the majority of books over to a Kindle tablet or a Kindle or the Kindle app if that's your preference. And we'll be able to go over that, how to do that momentarily as well. And you're able to create tags and smart tags. And these were previously known as, think about a wish list. In Overdrive, you had your one wish list and that was it. In Libby, you're able to create a multitude of different tags or lists that allow you to kind of sort your titles how you would like. And I'll show you some of the great features of that. And again, as we said before, you're able to automatically return those titles. And books, if there's no holds for the books, you are able to renew them. You aren't able to renew them if there is a hold. So if you've been waiting for a book for weeks or a couple of months, be sure to finish that title within those 21 days, or else it will be turned automatically and you will not be able to renew it. You will have to get back onto that hold list, and sometimes they're still pretty extensive. So be sure to not check out too many. I'm victim of that. Sometimes I check out too many titles. And so here are a couple of links to help you support. If you have any questions about Overdrive or Libby, you could contact them directly, and there's some advantages to that, and I'll show you how to do that inside of Libby as well. Since I am working off of a laptop today, I will be using the libbyapp.com website, which mirrors the app with one exception, and I'll show you that exception momentarily. So we'll go ahead and start jumping over to the Libby app. I'll look at the Q&A really quick to see if we have anything that I could answer here. So I do have how can I download an audiobook to my tablet and listen to the book? So if you have a tablet, you can download. So anything that's mobile device, your iPads, your tablets, your phones, you can download. And once you check out an audiobook, it will automatically start downloading onto your device. The other question is, can I download the Libby app on a PC, computer, or just Kindle? So you are able to use the libbyapp.com website, which is the one we're going to utilize to see how Libby works. Once again, the Overdrive app is no longer available. You can use the Overdrive website to check out titles, but then you would most likely have to use the Libby app in order to access all that material. Okay, so you should all now be able to see my Libby app website. As you can see here, I just go to libbyapp.com. And if it's the first time you've logged on, you will see this. This is also the first thing you will see when you download the app for the first time. We do have a library part. And we're going to search for a library. In here, we're going to type in LA County. And as you can see here, we see LA County Library. This is our main headquarters. It's not an actual library, it's just our headquarters. And you see 91 other branches. You do not need to connect to your local branch. So if you use the Sorensen Library or the Norwood Library or the Lancaster Library as your physical library, you don't need to look up that library. We share our Overdrive collection across our 91 branches, which includes our bookmobiles. So you just need to look for LA County Library. Once you find it, you go ahead and click on it. And it's going to ask you, sign in with my card or I like a card. So we do have a card, so we will be using that feature, but I do want to highlight this I would like a card really briefly. So here it says, get an instant card with your phone number if eligible. So this does create a separate account with Libby. And this account would live exclusively inside of the Libby Overdrive ecosystem, which would give the library very limited access to your information inside of Libby. So we do have sometimes when we have issues with Libby where it goes down, Overdrive goes down, or we have connectivity issues when people aren't able to log in, and they use their phone number to log in. What happens at that point is that anything that you check out or put on hold lives within that account, and it is not connected with your physical account at LA County Library. So if for whatever reason you're not able to log into your account with your library card, please reach out to us and we'll let you know if there's an issue going on with Libby, a connectivity issue on our end, because using that phone number will create a completely separate account that lives outside of LA County with your phone number, and sometimes there's a little confusion. But that is also a great resource if you've never had a card, and we are able to merge accounts and work things out. But the best is to get either that physical card or that digital card that I talked about earlier. So we're going to go ahead and sign in with my card. Put in my library card number here. And there we are. So as you can see, this is a card that I do actively use. I have 1 out of my 15 holds, 1 out of 15 loans, and 2 out of my 15 holds. It says here rename card. And that's something we might want to do, and we'll talk about that shortly. But for now, we're going to go ahead and click next. I always skip this as well. I like to have the option of jumping between Kindle or Libby, or if you're a Nook user, although you cannot download the app to Nook, you can use the Libby app website here and then send the books to your Nook via the EPUB. So we'll go ahead and hit skip. And now we here are on our main page here. So we're going to go ahead and click here on the main menu, which is this little triangle thing, these little 3 dots here. And the first thing I'm going to do, go down here to settings. And from here, I'm going to customize navigation. This is just something I like to do. I like to have those little icons there so I know what I'm looking at. Sometimes I forget what means what. So just having the titles underneath there really helps me sometimes. So the one thing I want to show you here within the settings, so let me show you how to get back in there. Menu, down to settings here, is manage notifications. So if you like to receive email notifications when a hold becomes available to you, you will have to log on to the Libby App website that we're on right now and ask for email notifications for, when your loan is expiring, when your hold is ready, when your hold has lapsed. This feature is not available on the Libby app on your mobile devices. So if you like email notifications, you'll have to log on here to libbyapp.com, go into the settings and change this over to email notification. On the app, it does look a little different. This is the one difference I wanted to show you. So here on the app, you can see it has ignore, menu badge, and notifications. I highly suggest that you have your notifications set for at least when your hold is ready and when your loan is expiring. You will get a push notification, kind of like when you get a text message, you get that little drop down on your phone or your mobile device letting you know that you have a new notification. These are very key because it does let you know about 2 days before your book is due that it's going to expire. And especially if there's those holds on there, you want to make sure to finish your book. So you'll know when it's going to return. And also when your hold is ready, you have 72 hours from the moment it becomes available to you to check it out. And it's to the second. So once you get that notification, you have 72 hours to act on that hold, whether it be check it out, postpone it, and I'll show you how to do that shortly, or release it because you've already read the book or are no longer available. If you do the menu badge, you get these little dots right here, but you only see those when you log into the app. So if you don't log into that app every single day, you'll miss a notification and you might miss one of your holds. So I highly suggest on your mobile device to click and allow notifications for your loans expiring at the very least, and when your holds are ready, so you don't miss that hold that you've been waiting for 2 or 3 weeks. And so I mentioned earlier that there is that ability to change the name on a card, and I said that might be important to you, and this is why. So here on the main menu, again, you see here Manage Cards. If you click on Manage Cards, you see this Add a Card feature. Libby does allow you to add multiple cards from the same system into a single Libby app. This is great if you're taking care maybe of an older parent or someone who's not great at technology, and they just simply want to have access to these digital resources. You're able to check out books for them, place items on hold for them, and then send it off to them. So it's a great feature to do. You would just click on Add Another Card. So let's actually go ahead and do that. We're going to add another card. And here we go again on this card, which is my main card, the card that I use almost every day. I have 1 out of 15 loans and 8 out of 15 holds. And I've already renamed this card, so we'll go ahead and click next on that. And the card that's on top is a card that's currently active and the card that you'll be using to check out or place items on hold. So I want to focus on this card, so I'm gonna go ahead and click Activate. And if you click here on Actions, here you're able to verify a card, rename that card, change the library card colors. So this might actually be useful if you have multiple cards. And just changing the color might let you know what card you're using. Or if you're no longer using this card, you would remove that card from here. Verify card is important because if you change your PIN and you come back and try to check something out, it might not let you check out because the PINs are no longer matching. And so you'll want to verify your card, and you'll just simply log back in again. It'll ask you for your library card number, your PIN, and you'll be good to go. And again, you could rename that card as well. Right. Let me check in here really quickly. Okay, so now we go back here to our main menu. And another great feature is that you're able to add multiple libraries. So we live in LA County, most of us do, I would assume. And the vast majority of us might have, access to more than one library, right? might have access to the Long Beach Public Library. You might have access to Los Angeles Public Library, which services the city of Los Angeles, Cerritos Public Library, and you're able to add all of those into Libby as well. And one of the great features of that is that if you're looking at our collection here at LA County, and another jurisdiction, another card that you have available, has that same book, and LA County has a holds list, but they have it available, I'll let you know, hey, I know you're looking at LA County's collection, but this other collection has it available and you have a card there, so want to check it out now? And you're able to do that, or you're able to get on the hold list if you're not ready to read that book at that moment. So it is a great feature that I do encourage you to explore if you have other library cards available to you. Okay. So now we're going to head over here to the right onto the shelf. And on the shelf, you're able to see your loans, your holds, and your tags. So I do have 2 cards currently on my account, if you do remember. So we go here on loan, I have multiple items here available. If you go into manage loan, you're able to see what card this is checked out to. So here I could see that it's the 1311. And you click on here on this one, I'm able to see that it's checked out to my main card. So you're able to easily see what card it's checked out to. And here's a magazine I checked out, which we will talk about in just a little bit. So here on holds again, we're able to see the different books that are on hold for me. And you get an estimated weight here. So 196 in line, there's 62 copies. So you kind of get a little estimate about how long you're going to have to wait to check out one of these books. So if a book becomes available to you, but you're not quite, you get that notification and it tells you, your book is now available to check out, but you're not quite ready to check out that title. You want to come into your shelf, click on holds, click on manage holds here. And here I have the option to either cancel my hold, deliver my holds, or deliver my hold later. And if this book was available to me, that I'd have that checkout feature available as well. But this book says it's going to be ready around September 19th. I don't think I'm going to be ready for this book yet. So I'm going to hit deliver later. And then you're able to extend and say, you know what, I won't be ready to read this book for another 3 weeks. So deliver after 21 days from today. So as you can see here, I now update this hold. And I'm kind of put on a hold, on a wait list on the side. So as soon as October 2nd, let's go back to my hold list here. So I said here, deliver after October 4th. So I won't get this book prior to October 4th. And I might get it October 4th, October 5th, depending on when that person who has that title checked out, when they return it or when it becomes when it expires for them. Now say that, I finished my book early and I want this book sooner. You can go back into manage hold, click on deliver later, and actually pull this back. And have been waiting for this book, so I do want it in the next couple of days. So I'm going to say deliver after the 16th. And update hold again. And so now I'm letting Libby Overdrive know that, I want this book sometime after September 16th. So I might get it on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, somewhere around that time. So this is a great feature to help you manage your holds. A lot of times, I come on, I find a lot of books that I want to read and I put them all on hold. And then I'm able to kind of manage out when I get these books delivered to me, because they're I could manage that hold list a little bit with that feature there. Now I want to highlight this here. We have 3 different icons here. So we have that little pause here, right? So this letter, I suspended my hold and letting them know I want it after the 16th. Here, I haven't done anything to this, but it's going to be available soon. So I might get this sooner rather than later. We have this little four-leaf clover here, and that's a quick skip the line. These are great. This is a great feature. This Lucky Day collection gives you 7 days to check out a title to read a book. But it's a little difficult to read books, and we'll touch on that in just a little book. I can't get through a book in 7 days. So when something's available on Lucky Day, I'd rather place it on hold, and I'll show you how to do that just momentarily. Again, we see here everything that I currently have on hold. And again, these are for the 2 cards that I have available. If you click on Manage Hold, once again, you're able to see what card this is associated with. And I will get to some of those questions at the end as they're more generalized questions. So the other thing I want to highlight here is the tags. So some tags are automatically made for you, right? And these are the borrowed tags, right there. So these are the books that I've borrowed recently. And you only see 2 because Libby is specific to a device. So whatever you do on that device kind of just lives on that device as far as the tag or that list. But everything, your extended collection is your extended list of what you've checked out is available on the Overdrive website, which is still you could still find on our website, and I'll send that link with the email tomorrow. But always remember that what is on Libby is specific to the device that you're currently working on. So there's a couple of things that I really like within the tags. And the first thing is, previously to switching over to Libby, I used Overdrive, the Overdrive app a lot, and I had a big wish list. And when I migrated to Libby, that wish list was simply not there. So how do I recover it? Well, you can do that. If you click here on Actions, we're going to create a new tag. And you get to name it whatever you want. This was my wish list that was on the Overdrive website and the Overdrive app, and I want it back because it had a lot of titles on there. So I name it wish list and I hit create. And I see here I could do a regular tag, a notify me tag, which we'll talk about in just a little bit, a sample. So every time you read a book, if you sample a book, I'll add it to that list, or here it is, my Overdrive wish list. Go ahead and click on that. Click down. And you see here, I don't see anything there, but let's go ahead and click in on it. And there are all of my books that I had placed on that wish list in Overdrive. They all auto-populate, it pulls it. So once again, if you need to create one of those tags, you go into your shelf, into the tag section, click on Action, create a new tag, you name it, create, and then you say that you want it. Since I've already created one, this is no longer an option for me, but that would be an option for you, and you'd be able to create that wish list. What's also great is that you could create a multitude of wish lists, right? So a lot of times I'm watching TV, watching a show, and a book comes up that I'm really interested in, so I could make a list of books on TV, and I could add books to that list based on what's on TV, and just make that a regular tag. And it's right there, books on TV. So you can create a number of different, you create a list for all your book club books. If you're in different book clubs, you're able to keep track of what book you're reading in what book club, what books you've already read, what books you would like to read, books that maybe someone that you're taking care of wants to read. You create a tag especially for them, and that way you know what you need to check out for them on their library card. So that is a quick look at your shelf, your loans, your holds, and your tags. And we will revisit this tag one more time. Now I'm going to switch over a little bit to the right here onto timeline. So timeline here, as you can see, has 211 loans and 10 holds. As I mentioned previously, the memory of your timeline or your history is exclusive to the device that you're using on. Even though I logged in for the first time, I've used this device previously to check out books. And so remembers that. On my main device, which is my phone, that list is closer to 700. And then the whole list, which is on Overdrive, is probably over 1,000 at this point. But I've only had that phone for a few years. I've been an Overdrive user for 10 years now. So that's one of the disadvantages sometimes of Libby, is that you don't see your complete history, but your complete history will always live on the Overdrive website. And once again, I'll link that out in that email that you will receive from me tomorrow. So that's just a short thing here on timelines. Now we're going to get into searching and looking at books and how to check out items, how to switch your loan periods, and all that fun stuff. So here, the library. This is kind of like the homepage for Libby, and this will switch depending if you have different library systems. This is curated by the library system that you log into. And you have some really great, lists that are provided many times by our collection development who purchases our books. So since it's Library Sign-Up Month, we're highlighting some great books here. And there's other guides that are made available through Overdrive, through Libby, and they're creating content. And remember how I mentioned that there was a couple of other services, videos and video classes and online courses that Overdrive offers. And those you will find here in the extras. We do offer Canopy, which allows you to check out movies and TV shows to stream for free. Currently, you could check out 10 items a month. That's about to change in November. So if you are a Canopy user or if you're interested in Canopy, keep an eye out. The system is changing. It is still free to you. It's just the number of checkouts, it's gonna change a little bit. And Universal Classes here, which offers free online courses from anything from meditation to booking to spreadsheets. It's a great self-paced course. You do need to turn in material, so it is kind of like taking a course, and you do get a certificate at the end. And both of these are offered for free. If you're interested in that, you could go to lacountylibrary.org and search for it there, or you could link out from inside the Libby app. It'll direct you to download those apps in order to use these services, but they're great services. So again, we have different titles, different collections, and we hit once again here this Lucky Day collection. This Lucky Day collection are titles that are identified by our collection development team that many times have very long holds lists or are continuously popular. And so we give people an opportunity to check these out for 7 days. These are non-renewable. You cannot change the loan period on these. These are 7 days only, and they pop up periodically. Sometimes I like to check this collection just to see what's popular. As you can see here, if they have that little 4-leaf clover, that means they're only available for 7 days. Now, like I said, unless I'm on a tropical beach, on vacation, there is no way I'm getting through a 400 or 500-page book in 7 days. So these are not for me. I have used these when perhaps my loan period has ended, and I didn't quite finish the book, and it pops up on Lucky Day. I have another quick 7 days to finish and not have to wait for that hold to become available to me. But if there's a book in here that you are interested in, that it's currently available on the Lucky Day collection, but you want to place a hold on it, there is a way to do that. You click on borrow as if you were going to borrow it. And you see here, this is a skip the line copy. It has a fixed lending period of 7 days. I want to place this book on hold. I cannot finish it in 7 days. I go ahead and click on this is a skip the line copy. It lets me know here that the hold wait is about 14 weeks, which is pretty extensive, but that's okay. I'm willing to wait. I want the full 21 days. So click on that, and all of a sudden, it becomes a place a hold. And there I am. I am now on I'm on hold for this great book, which you haven't read. I highly recommend it. It's fantastic. So that's how I use Lucky Day. I use it to grow my holds list because I am unable to finish a book in 7 days. So once again, this library is just kind of like your main your main page, your home page for Libby. and this does update regularly. We switch out the different list and the different things we're celebrating. So this is a great way to look for items. Now, if you're just looking for something to check out and read right now, available now. And available now does sometimes pop up with those lucky days, unfortunately, but you do get a lot of other titles that may or may not have, which you think might not be available, but are. So let's go ahead and, so we see here, this is available. You see that it's 16 hours. This is an audiobook. So if you see 16 hours here, you know it's an audiobook. If you click on the title here on the cover, you actually go into the record and you're able to see a quick detail of, synopsis of what the book is, the genre. If you can't tell by the title if it's a fiction or nonfiction or historical, you're able to see that there. One of the really cool things that I love about Libby is these reviews here. So Library Journal is a industry standard. So if you click on that, you're able to see a review of the books. If you're not quite sure if you want to read it, you are able to kind of see here a review from a professional journal that we use to assess books as well. And if you see the star review, it generally means it's a really good book. Sometimes the reviews do have spoilers. So if you want to be completely surprised, you could skip reading the reviews. But if you see that little star next to it, that means it's a fairly good book. It has their seal of approval. And generally, there's other Kirkus and other resources that we use that are also available here. You're able to see here that it's an audiobook, 16 hours, and when it was released. We have 244 copies, but only one of them is available. So I definitely want to check this out. So I'm going to click here on borrow. Now here, as you can see, it says 14 days. 14 days, 16 hours, probably not going to happen. If you click on the date, you are then able to choose one of the 3 dates. And as I said, and once you choose 21 days, it should default to 21 days for all future checkouts. You might need to, close out the app and open it up again to see that change, but it should take effect. And you go ahead and click on borrow. And you're now able to open this audiobook. Again, since I am on a laptop, I cannot download the audiobook. I could only stream it. So if I'm going to listen to it on a laptop or a desktop, I do need to have access to the internet at all times as I am streaming the audiobook. But if I'm doing it on a phone, you are able to download it onto your phone. But again, some of these are 100, 200, up to 500 megabytes, as they are very heavy. So be sure to have that space on your device in order to do so. So we're going to go ahead and keep browsing here. And see, it's already tagged to my borrowed, as we mentioned before. I know when I checked it out. Now if you open the audiobook, and once you're inside open the audiobook, you do have some options of speeding it up or slowing it down. If someone's reading too slowly or reading too fast, you do have that capability of speeding up or slowing down the books if you so choose to do so. So now we're going to go here into our search. The one thing I wanted to show you here is the Notify Me tag. The Notify Me tag allows you to look for books that we currently do not have available. And this could be because the book is yet not published, but will soon be published, or it's a book that we perhaps don't have in our collection, but you want us to buy it. So let's kind of look up here a book that might not be checked out. Yeah, go. So let's look up John Grisham. So John Grisham here has 156 titles, but I know he has a new book coming out. the name of the title. 1 second, please. I do apologize. Okay. So I know he has a book coming out fairly soon, and I don't see it here. So I go into here into an advanced search. That's what that little title does. And if you scroll down, you see this deep search here, right? But it's not active because it says deep search is not available when an unfiltered search has more than 100 results. So we need to be a little bit more specific. So I know that John Grisham has a new title coming out, and I looked it up, and I know it's called The Exchange. So let's look that up. So when I look up The Exchange, there's 33 books, 4 audiobooks, but I don't see it here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that deep search. That deep search, what it does, it looks for books that Overdrive has available for us to purchase, but we yet do not have in our collection. And again, it might be because the book is not yet published and we're planning to buy it. We're probably going to buy the new John Grisham book. Or it's an older title that we previously owned, no longer do, and so we never repurchased the title. But here we see that deep search. So we're going to go, if you can see here, we have showing 37 titles. I'm going to click on deep search. And those 37 titles have become 3,700 titles, which is way too many for us to sift through. But I know this book has not yet been published. And here is another filter coming soon. So those 3,700 are going to go down to 23. Let's go ahead and click Show Titles. And now, here it is. We see here that publishing soon, The Exchange, which is a sequel to The Firm, which came out like 30 years ago, but okay. And so I want to be notified when this book becomes available. So I click on Notify Me. And if you click down here, if you see down here, it says tagging a title with Notify Me does not guarantee that a library will acquire it, but Libby shares your interest anonymously with libraries. If they add the title to the location, we will let you know right away. So we are most likely going to buy this John Grisham book because it's John Grisham, right? So the moment that we buy it and it becomes available for you to get on the holds list, you'll get one of those push notifications. So again, we would want to go into those settings, make sure you get the push notification for when your Notify Me title is available. So that way you'll get it. You could jump onto Libby and get yourself on that holds list. So we want to add that to that title there. Click on Done. And if you go here to our shelf, click on Tags, we see it here. If these titles are added to my libraries, let me know. So that is a great way to get ahead of the list of holds. If you know a big book is coming out by a big author, you want to get on that Notify Me list, and then you're able to add yourself to the hold list and be one of the first people to get that book. Now, I do get the question sometimes, like, it's a digital copy. Why do I have holds on this? Well, we treat digital copies very much like physical copies, right? If we buy one copy and lend it out to as many people, that would really hurt the author, right? Because they're just selling me one copy and I'm lending it out to 50 or 60 people. So in fairness to authors, we do buy multiple copies of the same book, multiple licenses, so we could lend that out and be fair to the authors, and we, let them have their just reward for their hard work. They should be compensated for the work. So we do, we want to lend out, 244 copies of the Prince Harry book. We buy 244 licenses. Think of them as different licenses. It's the same file, but different licenses that we're able to share with all of you, and ensure that the authors are encouraged to continue creating content that you enjoy. So unfortunately, we do have the holds list, but we're also guaranteeing that authors are able to make a living and continue offering services and offering their their works to you. So the other thing I wanted to show you really quickly as well here is, if you remember, I have two different titles, two different library cards in my Libby account, and I want to be able to check it out to one card or the other. So let's go ahead and let's just randomly check this out, which is also a very popular book. I'm going to click on borrow here. It still says 14 days. As I say, sometimes you do need to jump in and out of Libby in order to ensure that that effect takes place. So I'm going to change it here to 21. But I do not want to check it out to this account. I want to check it out to my main card, the other card that I added. So if I click on that card, I see here that this card is defaulted, as you can see by the star, but I do want to check out to this card. So I click on that card, and now I'll be checking out this book to this card. So I'm going to go ahead and open the book here really quickly so you could kind of see. So here, you have the option of sending it to your Kindle device. And if you send it to your Kindle device, you can still read it in Libby and vice versa. So if you have a Kindle at home, but you have a phone, and you kind of read in between, you are able to open it in both, so that is fantastic. Other options here. So we have EPUBs. So the only disadvantage to this is if you go with an EPUB, which sometimes is something that Nook uses, if I'm not mistaken, you can no longer read it through Libby or Kindle. Once you download as an EPUB, that's how you'll be reading this title for those 21 days. If you open it in Libby, you could then go back and open it in Kindle and vice versa. So if you open it to Kindle, it'll ask you to log into your Amazon account, and then it'll send the file over. Once you sync your devices, you'll see the title there for the 21 days. Once those 21 days are up, that file does become invalid and you're no longer able to read it. You might be able to see the cover of it, but you won't be able to access it. I'll let you know that your loan has expired. So let's look at it here in Libby. So as it loads, there's some really great features here that I really like. That feature makes it single page, which I'm a big fan of. Go ahead and click in the middle and move over to a couple of other pages here. You move pages by clicking at the edge of the screen. If you click in the middle of the screen, you get that main menu again. If you click this A here, which I love, you're able to change the size of the font. You also are able to do accessibility sizes, which are much larger size fonts. So this is fantastic for people who are who have a hard time seeing. You have a really extensive collection of different size fonts. You're also able to use the sepia or this dark mode, which I really like. And you're also able to change the font. So if you're not a fan of this font, you're able to change the font. What I like doing is doing the custom font, because you're able to do line spacing as well. So you're able to do 2x line spacing, so they're a little bit more separated. So I encourage you inside of Libby to go into those features and really customize Libby to your needs, and so you're able to read a book comfortably. Libby has done a really great job of being able to make their titles accessible to a lot of individuals. So we're going ahead and go hit back, and we're going to close this out and head back to the main menu. So with that, we've concluded for this this event. It was an extensive list. I know we went through a lot, and you might have not necessarily remember everything. Remember, you will be getting an edited version of this within about 24 hours. You also get an email with some of those links that I talked about. And if you have any questions about Libby, or if you experience any problems, go ahead and reach out to me. You're also able to reach out to Libby directly. And you do that by clicking here, go to menu, get some help. So say one of the problems that I've had some people have recently is not being able to, their book resets to the start page. So reset book resets. You click on Go. And they couldn't help any useful tips, so ask our support team. You can have a problem here. You let them know. You click on Next. I won't click Next because then it's going to submit it. And you'll be working directly with Libby in Overdrive to resolve your problem. With your permission, they're also able to grab some files from Libby to see if there's anything causing that error to better support you. So that is a great way to get help from Libby directly. So once again, you go into get some help, type out your problem, and they'll send it directly to Libby. So let's go here and see if I have any questions. So how to bookmark a page when I left off reading. What's great about it, on that same device, it remembers where you left off. If you're reading on multiple devices or different multiple devices, you would need to do that. And let me show that to you really quickly again. Let me go to my shelf and go to our loans. Let's go to that book that we were just reading. So it's open in Libby. And you see this little mark right here. You click on that, and that is your bookmark. You're also able to set multiple bookmarks. So I could skip over to page, you know, page 46, and I want to bookmark that page as well. And you see down here where those bookmarks are held. So you're able to jump back to the different bookmarks. Say you highlighted something that you wanted to revisit, you're able to highlight and then revisit that bookmark. So that's a really great feature that Libby does offer. So if there's asking if so the numbers of hours listened here. So right here, this is how long the book is. So it takes about 16 hours to get through this book at 1x speed, at normal speed. When you speed it up or slow it down, that's going to change. But if you leave it at 1x speed, it will take you about 16 hours to get through this. All right. So we do have a little bit of time, so I do want to go over the magazines really quickly here. So we're going to go back to search. We're going to go here to magazines. Now it says 4,000 magazines. That's not that we have 4,000 different titles. We have 14,000 different editions. So once again, here we have the most popular titles. There's some really great titles. And again, these do not count against your 15 total. So if you have 15 items checked out, you could check out 15, 16, 20 different magazines. And so let's click here on the New Yorker. I'm a big New Yorker fan. And you want to borrow the title here. And again, this is, you could borrow for 21, 7 days, 21, 14, or 7 days. For this, it doesn't really matter because they're always available. There's no holds for magazines. So you could check it out for 14 days, 21 days, and simply renew it or check it out again. You don't need to worry about holds here, but we're going to go ahead and borrow this title here. And also what it lets you know, you get to notify me about this, right? So every time you want to know when there is the newest edition of the New Yorker because you love it, you don't want to miss an issue, you could go ahead and click on that. Done. And so every time there is a new issue of the New Yorker, I'll be notified. And browsing the magazine works very much in the same way that it does browsing a book. It opens it up and you're able to go through it, read the entire articles. It has everything available. So it remembers my sepia settings, which is incredible. And so you're just able to read the whole thing. I like viewing one page at a time. So I click on one page, click in the middle to make this all go away. And by clicking on the edge here, I switch. One of the great features that I like about this is that sometimes it's kind of hard to read these articles and it's kind of small. You click on article down here, and it simply just picks up the entire article for you. It takes out the ads, it takes out the pictures. So I like to kind of browse the magazine first and kind of see the pictures and kind of get a feel for that. And then go back and click on the different articles that I want to read. Again, just article, it pops it back up, and you're able to really easily kind of look directly at the article a little bit larger, and it really helps. And again, you have those abilities as well to change the text and make it a lot larger with those accessibility options. So again, this is a great way for people who have a hard time seeing to still enjoy magazines. So I encourage you to check out the magazines as well. I'll go ahead and click back menu here. So the one thing with holds, unfortunately, asking people if you have multiple cards on Libby, can you see just the holds for one card? Unfortunately, you are unable to do that. Kind of bunches them all together. You can remove the card from Libby, and it just removes it from Libby. You still have your account, your holds are still there. So if you just want to see all the holds for one card, you can remove one of those cards, and then you'll just see the holds for that one title. And I could show that here really quickly. I know we're a little bit past time, but I think this is a great feature. So if I go to my shelf here, I could see here I have 11 holds, correct? But I would have to kind of click on each one individually to kind of see which card I'm on. But I just want to see what cards I have on one. So I go into Manage Cards, and I want to see what I have on my main card. So I'm going to click on Actions on this other card, and I'm going to remove it. Yes, remove. And if I go back to my shelf, we're down to 8 holds, because the holds that were associated with that other card have now been removed. Then I could simply add the card back, and those holds will then again be available there. Again, you're not deleting your account, you're just simply removing the card from that specific Libby, and so you're able to add it and take it away. So that's one of the reasons why you might want to remove a card. All right. So I have a question here. Are books both available in ebook and audiobook? So a lot of the times we do buy both audiobook and ebook, but sometimes they're not necessarily available at the same time. So let me go here onto my shelf again, go onto my loans. So I'm going to click here on this one that I'm almost done with. I'm going to click on the title here. I was going to open it. Let's go into library here. Click here on lessons in chemistry. So I see here that this is the book. If I go further down, it says here that it's also available as an audiobook. So if I want to put both on hold, this one I do have on hold, I could click over here, and this will then take me to the audiobook record, and I could then place a hold on the audiobook as well. And with that feature of delaying your hold, if you want to both listen to a book and read it at the same time, you could try to match up the checkout period by playing with those holds of when holds are going to be returned, made available to you, correct? So if you go to my shelf, go back out here to my holds, I could try to modify the holds. I had it available on the other one. So manage holds here, and I'm going to suspend the holds here, and I'm going to suspend it for as long as I need to suspend it in order to kind of try to line up both the audiobook and the ebook at the same time, which is a great way to, I do like to do that occasionally, and it's a great way to learn a new language as well. So excellent. So one of the advantages of using the Amazon Kindle app is that if you send it to your Amazon Kindle, it will then be available on all your devices that you have Amazon the the Kindle app available, and it will remember where you're at. So you could send it to your Paperwhite. You could open it on your app on your phone or on your desktop. So that is one of the advantages of using the Amazon. And as I mentioned, to download Libby, you do need to have the Amazon Fire HD10 or newer, which I believe everything is 2017 and newer. So it looks like I answered most of the questions that came through. If I did not get your question, it could be there was a very specific question to one specific person. And for that, I do ask you to go ahead and reach out to me to that email that you'll be receiving from me tomorrow. And someone go ahead and start sharing here. So I want to thank everybody for joining me today. I know we went a little bit over, but there is a lot to cover on Amazon and Kindle, and we'll on sorry on Libby, and I'll be continually having these. If there's major updates to Libby or how things are accessible, we will continue to update you both through our messaging, through our emails, but we'll continue to having these sessions as well if there's a big change in Libby, which I don't foresee anything in the near future. But we will be, continue hosting these events. And if you have any ideas of the type of events or webinars that you would like for us to feature, please let me know. Respond to that email. So thank you so much for joining us. Always check out what's coming up at lacountylibrary.org/virtual-program.